Well, good afternoon, New Orleans. Good afternoon, New Orleans. My name is Anthony Bridges, Vice President and Community Development Lender with NOLA Lending Group, a division of Fidelity Bank. I'm here. I'm excited to be here on behalf of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, an organization dedicated to advancing black businesses, supporting our communities, and making a great impact in our community through entrepreneurship and community support. I have a very special guest with me now. You all know him around the city, Dr. Eric Griggs. Welcome.
Thank you. This is a very familiar seat. I was just in this seat on the front porch with Graylin and Kemba. This is actually where I cut my teeth at WBOK. Long time ago.
Nice. Well, look, about New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, and we have a lot of information that we're going to get into. But the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, founded in 2006, we currently support 12 parishes across the greater New Orleans region. We're dedicated to business development and economic empowerment of the New Orleans economy, particularly black communities throughout the 12 parish region. Our parishes include Orleans, Jefferson, St. Bernard, St. Tammany, Plaquemines, Washington, St. John, St. James, St. Charles, and Tangipahoa Parish. NORBCC continues to be a great resource and voice for black business owners and entrepreneurs throughout the region. Our mission is simple. It's to support, promote, and educate our members for sustainable growth and expansion, and also to empower and sustain the African American business community through entrepreneurship and economic activity. So we are the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We are excited to be here with you today. And we have another guest that just arrived, Miss Monica Renee of MRE.
Right.
Welcome.
MRE Global, thank you so much. It was a feat getting here, but I'm glad that I'm here.
Well, at least it wasn't snowing today.
I know, right? Exactly.
So I understand you have an event planning company as well as outreach company. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your business and what you're doing that will lead into the event that we're talking about today. Absolutely.
Okay. And also, one of the event leader, will be joining us, I guess, by phone or what have you, Dr. Robert Turner. If I can, my company, I'm a part of the chamber. I'm happy to be a part of the chamber because for some time I was going back and forth between California and here, and I was like, I don't need to lay roots here, but yes, I do. And it's very important because I laid roots here, I was able to get involved with the Black Men's Health Conference, which is coming up February 3rd through the 6th. So it's a wonderful opportunity and it's free. It's a free conference during Super Bowl week, and we're going to be focusing on Black men's brain health from all spectrums, particularly also those that are involved in athletics. So it's sponsored by the NFL, the Alzheimer's Association is one of the sponsors, as well as the Brain Health Institute and the Council on Aging. So hopefully, if we can get Dr. Turner, is he available?
Yeah, absolutely. So
because he can tell you all about it, but I'm just happy to be a part of the engagement process, and that's where the chamber comes in. Yeah.
All right. So, Dr. Turner, welcome to New Orleans. Welcome to the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, and we're excited to have you. So I've heard a lot of great things about you. So why don't you tell all of New Orleans a little bit about you, how you got started with this initiative, how long it's been going on, and all the great things that's taking place?
Well, first off, let me just say thank you for having me. And I'm in great company because I'm not from down there, but I've been wanting to do some good work in that area for quite a while. And I guess you could say for fortuitous, reasons, God brought me together with Dr. Griggs, and then through Dr. Griggs, I was able to meet Monica. And I'm actually feeling very much at home in you having me here on the radio, and I look forward to landing next Saturday. But as Monica said, this is our fourth year for the Black Men's Brain Health Conference. Our organization is the Men's Brain Health Initiative, and one of the our flagship event is this Black Men's Brain Health Conference. We do it every year at the Super Bowl by partnering with the NFL Alumni Association, the Alzheimer's Association, working with, and we're very excited this year that will be the first time at an HBCU. So when we knew we were coming to New Orleans, basically Xavier University was the only place that we turned to bring this event. So we're really happy, and it's open to the general public. We bring clinicians together, we bring researchers together from a very local perspective, as we want to understand what's going on with Black men's brain health, so that way we can be a solution to help people in need.
So Dr. Turner, first of all, thank you for bringing this initiative to this HBCU, which we have the pleasure of hosting our radio station at today. So we're always excited to be on the campus of Xavier University. But what particular made you decide that this was an initiative that you wanted to take on? Because I understand that this is your fourth year, correct?
That's correct. And so it really started, I've been, my career is that I played professional football. I was fortunate enough to receive a scholarship to play at James Madison University. I'm originally from New Jersey. And then I went on and I got drafted in the old USFL. Those who remember Reggie White and all those other folks that played in that league. I was drafted by Memphis back in the day, got traded to New Jersey, played a little bit in the Canadian Football League. I tell people, I had a sip of coffee in the NFL. I was fortunate enough to play for the 49ers. And in the time that I was there, I was a backup to Ronnie Lott because he's a Hall of Famer, which means I never got on the field. But, that was really kind of my story, my journey. I spent 16 years as a youth all the way up to, in my mid-20s, late 20s playing football. And then all of a sudden, when I got done, I call them my wilderness years. I didn't really know what to do with myself. I really went to college really to play football. I got a degree, but I was kind of lost. And then years later, actually 18 years after I had finished playing in undergraduate, I wound up going back and getting a PhD in medical sociology. And right at that time is when we started seeing Junior Seau, with the when he committed suicide, Dave Duerson, and we started, CTE just started reaching up its head, and we didn't know what was going on. And so I was really interested in trying to understand what was happening, particularly these were men of color. Why was it hitting us in a certain way? And so that set me on a journey. I wrote a book, which was published on Oxford University Press. It's called NFL Means Not for Long, The Life and the Career of the NFL Athlete. So really, I guess in terms of academic parlance and science, I wanted to do me search. I wanted to find out what was my potential problems. Maybe I might have some brain health issues in the future, and other brethren like me. What was going on? And I quickly learned that there's no research that really focused on us in particular. And that set me on the journey, and that's brought us here years later, really understanding that there's a lot that we don't know, and we need Black men and the community at large to get involved to help us understand our risk and protective factors.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. But when you and I understand the connection being with you being a former athlete, playing football, with CTE being a major factor. But why should individuals, especially Black men who maybe did not play a contact sport like that, what makes this type of initiative, or why is it important for them to attend this conference as well?
Well, that's great. That's a really important question, because really football is only one half of what we do. And let me just say this. why did we start with football and why did we start with black men? Because really, if you look at it, you turn on the television, you look at the NFL, black men and men of color represent 70% of the NFL. Turn on the television and watch LSU. You see a lot of black men there. So we know that football is really important to our community. But the other thing that's really important, and let me just say that black men's brain health and aging is not just about black men. We know that the community, we know black women, we know that our sisters, our daughters, our aunties, all of them are really important to us and our brain health. So this is about our community. And it's also open to everyone who's not black because it's about caring for people who are at risk. But the thing that I want you to really understand, what you just talked about, is that drives a lot of this, and this is why we are partners with the Alzheimer's Association and other local entities locally to help people, is because people don't realize, but Alzheimer's disease and dementia, the prevalence in the black community is almost twice as much as that of white community. So that means it affects us twice as hard. And what we wind up finding out is that we get diagnosed much later in the disease spectrum, and we're the least likely to be involved with research. So if you think about it, it hits us harder, it hits us longer. We don't know how it hits us from a really a medical standpoint. How can we prevent or treat people? And those are all the reasons why we need people to get involved with coming out in person and registering online to come out in person. But if you can't make it in person, we also streamline everything online so you can have full access to the content by just going online, registering, and streaming it to Zoom.
Right. We definitely want you to register and what have you. And to ride on what Dr. Turner was saying, too, that's why it's so very important for the community as well as the business community to get involved, because we're stakeholders. We're all stakeholders in this situation and in our community. And being a part of the chamber, it becomes, as you know, our responsibility to help get the word out about things that are that benefit us in so many ways. We had some wonderful vendors to come on board to graciously volunteer their time as far as the promotion of the event. And we're looking forward to really engaging with them as well as other members of the chamber and the community.
Gotcha. Doc Griggs, from a local perspective, right? How does this connect to us locally here?
So it connects to us locally because black men's health overall is an issue. We know that we are the endangered species, and one of the things that we don't talk about in the community is our brain health. There are a lot of things. Dr. Turner and I have gotten to become like family over the last few months with this event because it affects members of our family. There's a misconception that Alzheimer's is different than dementia. Alzheimer's is only one type of dementia. And the part that we don't talk about, we think of things from a very egocentric perspective. When we hear about things, we worry about ourselves having dementia. But, there's a component that Dr. Turner can speak to in this about the caregivers. Yes. Because our brain health doesn't just affect us, it affects the whole family. Dr. Turner.
Yeah, let me just jump in. I appreciate that because, again, this is why the Alzheimer's Association is so vital to what we do. My dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease back in 2010. And unfortunately, we lost my mom about 2 years ago. And so about the last 3 years, I became my dad's primary caregiver. So here we are as a black man, and I've got a full-time job. I was living in Washington, D.C. My dad is in New Jersey. And so that was really almost my weekly commute to make sure that I was there taking care of him. And what people don't realize often is that, yes, caregiving is often seen as, a woman's work. And we know that women do an amazing job caring for us. But people don't recognize it. About anywhere from 35 to 40% of caregiving in Alzheimer's is done by men, done by black men. So that means we have, husbands, brothers, right? All, contributing, uncle contributing to this. But what happens is when you have a population that's already at great risk of poor health, and particularly greater risk of Alzheimer's, contracting Alzheimer's themselves, right? And then there's stress associated sometimes, not always, but there's some stress associated with this. That just means that we are very vulnerable. And when that happened to me, I never got married and I don't have kids. I found myself in a kind of a crisis moment having to care for someone that who cared for me my whole life. So I was able to pick up the phone, call the Alzheimer's Association, and they really supported me and helped me all the way through. So I guess the moral of that story is there's a lot of us responsible for caring for other people, but we're not alone. There are resources out there, and that's part of what our conference is all about, connecting community with resources to help strengthen our community as we find ourselves going through these things.
And thank you, Dr. Turner. And that brings us to a perfect opportunity. That the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce is really excited to be a part of this initiative as well. As a matter of fact, we have our current board chair, Mr. Edward Smith, on the line, and he's going to be joining the conference next week. So I know he's been excited and he's been promoting it on behalf of your organization through our organization and his other channels. So, but I'll let him introduce himself real quick.
Greetings and salutations. I'm Edward B. Kuhan Smith, the chairman-elect of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. And this is a very, very, very heartfelt topic because I'm also a member of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, where we have a program that's called Checking on a Brother. Is always saying, brother, are you okay? Because the black community has always had this stigma about black men having to be the strongest of the strong and not having these type of issues or any mental health issues. And all of us had that cousin that, always was sitting in the corner that was rocking back and forth, and everybody always said that he's special. But, nobody really paid attention to what was really going on. So I'm glad we have this conference that's coming, especially Super Bowl week. And I'm overjoyed that the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce is involved, and we will and shall will stay involved. And we have our own men's empowerment conference that's coming up in June. So we want some of these same brothers, Doc, and I know you both. So we want some of the same conversation, some of the same energy then as we're having now.
I'm so glad that Edward said
And hey,
that
Miss
because-
Monica, how you
well,
doing?
hey, how you doing? Glad that you were able to join us. I just want to say thank you, Chairman, for your participation. And, when I made the phone call and what have you, you were like, we're on board. We're on board. And that's what people such as myself really like to hear when it comes to engagement and empowering the community. This is one topic that we really have to normalize. And I tell people all the time, you have to, it's okay. Sometimes we have to learn how to live in Mama and Papa's world, when it comes to various forms of dementia and what have you. And we have to just normalize that conversation and get your plan together. Just like with sports, get your game plan together. Right. And with this conference, this is one opportunity to begin to make that plan,
So I want to publicly thank Dr. Turner for giving me the honor and privilege to be keynoting the conference this year. And I want to talk more about, it's not just a mama and papa condition. Right. When we think about brain health, a lot of times people just think about memory loss. No, your brain does everything. Emotional liability, cognition, being able to think, remembering, being able to process, noticing things early, like having to talk around a description of something that you normally can say. And I love the platform that Mr. Smith was talking about just checking, hey, brother, are you okay? Typically in the black community, especially if something's wrong, unless we're hungover, we hung out too much, hey, man, how you doing? I'm fine. I preach that fine and good are four-letter words. And fine and good have killed more black men than any other disease process. How are you? I'm fine. What did the doctor say? He said, I'm fine. Everything's good. Everything's good. And it's not. So we need to, this conference will start to hopefully normalize the conversation and destigmatize any issues that we have going on. And genuinely, we're from New Orleans. I tell people all the time when they come here, if we ask how you doing, we really mean, you all right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, let me jump in here real quick, without sounding like a love fest. But I think this is really important. Well, first of all, let me just direct people to our website. It's www.nurc www.mensbrainhealth.org. O-R-G, mensbrainhealth.org. You can also find it at .com. But I'm going to bounce this right back over to Dr. Griggs real quick, because one of the primary themes that we have this year is clinical trials in the Black community. And for lots of different reasons, like as an example, I always lead off with a really important statistic, and that is of all the dementia-related research, Alzheimer's and dementia-related research, Black people only represent 5% of the research population, right? Which is unbelievable because, again, it almost impacts us twice as much as other populations, but we're only 5%. And of that 5%, Black women represent 75% of the Black participants in research. So that means Black men are only 25%, or about 1% total. So I just want to bounce it back over to Dr. Griggs, because he has a lot to say about why participating in research and clinical trials is so important, and that's part of the foundation of what we're going to talk about at our conference.
Yeah, I'm not alone. I do community medicine, so I'm 100% community, 100% medicine. Which one you want depends on how you come at it, right? But seriously, it's generational trauma. There's generational distrust of the healthcare system. There's the travesty and tragedy called the Tuskegee, and that over the years, that story has morphed into something more horrid, and it gets more and more dismal as the generations go on. Syphilis doesn't transmit that way. The travesty is that they didn't treat those people for all those years, and now there are guardrails in place across the board, right. IRBs and institutional review boards to make things safe. And the problem is that, if we don't get involved, the medications and the technologies involved won't be for us. And that's kind of where we are with a lot of things. So it's a generational distrust. It's conversations. It's very rare you'll find someone that's done a clinical trial. We are quick to be like, this is really good. Yeah, you go first. Let me see how you do. So it's connecting people, talking more and more about clinical trials, what they are, and more importantly, what they are not in our communities. And that's the conversations that we need to have, and having honest conversations about why won't you do it? Because I'm not.
I'm project director for a play that's been touring for the last 3 years with the Alzheimer's Association called Unforgettable. And that's one of the topics it's based on clinical research or what have you. And one of the lines in the play is that, do you know what's in that ibuprofen? Do you know what's in that processed food? So it's the same with anything else. You don't know what's in that. So let's get rid of that stigma and that mistrust or what have you, because as Dr. Griggs said that there are systems in place now to help safeguard from such tragedies as that Tuskegee experiment.
And Doc, what's been missing from the equation in everyone is the fact that, I was having another conversation on another project, and I said, we are over-surveyed community. After every tragedy that happens in our communities, they come. The people come out and they want to conduct surveys. They want to do this study, and you'll help with this. No one ever goes back. You want to recruit for the study, but then can you give us the follow-up and tell us the good that we did? If you make us feel good, imagine, Doc, in your football days, you play a game and you never get to finish. You never get to see the final score. You got to play a whole season and you never get to see the score. Would it make you want to play again? Right. Come back, let's celebrate, make it a team. The more transparent we are, the more likely we are to take this journey together. So that's one of the things that we're trying to do, is start having these real frank conversations, to start taking these journeys together and guide you safely to and through the clinical trials process, so more of us can get involved.
So, Ms. Monica, let's, we're approaching the end of our conversation today.
Went fast.
So let's just give us a quick about the event again. I know it's February.
It starts February 4th. That's the public. We have a pre-conference on the 3rd, but it starts February 4th and 5th. Activities throughout the week. But if you go to the website and register, you'll see all of the events in order to participate. And again, it's free, and you can attend in person or virtually. And I challenge all of the churches, all of you pastors that are out there listening or what have you, this is a wonderful opportunity for your men's ministry, your health ministry, et cetera, to get on board. And again, if you are a business owner, we're stakeholders in this community. Spread the word. Let's get out. Let's support. Let's take care of our brain health. And as my dad would say, who also played football, as long as there's time on the clock, you still have time to make a play.
That's right. And, their website is mensbrainhealth.org.
Right, exactly. Let me just say again, mensbrainhealth.org or mensbrainhealth.com. And it's going to be held at Xavier University in a McCaffrey Ballroom and the University Center, which is 1 Drexel Drive, 3rd floor. I'm sure everybody knows that. But I also let you in on a little bit of secret, too, is not only is the event free, not only do we free when you come in public or free when you stream online, but if you come, we feed you. We're not just bringing you there. We're going to feed you breakfast. We got lunch going on. We have a social mixture that's going on. All the events are on the calendar as well. And then we have a number of current and former football players that are going to be in the house as well. And we have a special thing called Sports Spotlight that happens at noon. So go online, check out the events, register, and then we also have information about the program and the social networking mixer that's on Tuesday evening.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, look, I want to connect this back to the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, and we typically tell folks there's 3 reasons why they should join or be connected with the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, and I'm just going to give you reason number 3, and that's to creating opportunities for our members is our top priority. Right? It's our goal to ensure that our members and our businesses that we bring value to their communities, and this is one way that we can bring value to the community is connecting with a great initiative like this one. So I encourage every member of the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce to visit mensbrainhealth.org, register for the event and participate. And Brother Ed, I'll let you give us our final thoughts and wrap us up.
All right, in the words of James Brown and Otis Redding, please, 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 register for the Men's Brain Health Conference on next week. And please join the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. Go to NOLA blackblkchamber.org to join the chamber. And then tune in next week where we will have the ladies from the Mystic Crew Femme Fatale on the show, which will also be my birthday. So please tune in. Please, ma'am. Please, sir. Calling la-di-da to everybody. Tune in. Join the chamber. See you at the conference. Happy Super Bowl and happy Mardi Gras.